Good morning. I am Dr. J.R. Kandan, Associate Professor from Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today I am going to deliver my lecture on vapor power cycle. So before starting this vapor power cycle, I want to introduce what is power cycle, what will be the application of power cycle, what are the classification involved in the power cycle. Classification of power cycle and application of power cycle. So power cycle is continuously convert heat energy which is liberated either from combustion of fuel or burning of fuel and completely convert that heat energy into work, in which working fluid repeatedly performs succession of process. Based on working fluid condition, the power cycle can be classified into two categories. That is gas power cycle, vapor power cycle. In gas power cycle, the working fluid remains gaseous state. In vapor power cycle, the working fluid is continuously changed in space from liquid to vapor or vice versa, vapor to liquid. The example for our application of this gas power cycle is Otto cycle or petrol engine, diesel cycle or diesel engine, then multi-fuel engine. The vapor power cycle example is a power production in power plant. This vapor power cycle is mainly used in the steam power plant. It is a basic cycle for steam power plant. These are the applications. Just it's a power cycle and classification of power cycle and application of power cycle. Today class we are going to deliberately discuss about vapor power cycle. So as we know that the Carnot cycle is a basic cycle for all the power cycles. The Carnot cycle consists of two isothermal process, two isentropic process. Just I am going to draw the diagram on TS plot. It is temperature and entropy plot. This is a Carnot cycle. This is a Carnot cycle is a basic cycle for all the power cycle. In the y-axis we are having temperature in degree centigrade. In x-axis we are having entropy. That is the temperature is S. The unit of entropy is kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So as I said earlier, this Carnot cycle consists of four processes. The first process is isentropic expansion 1 to 2. Process 1 to 2 is isentropic expansion. Then process 2 to 3, isothermal heat rejection. This 2 to 3. Then process 3 to 4 again, isentropic compression. The process 4 to 1 is isothermal heat addition. So the four processes available in Carnot cycle. Here we know that the Carnot cycle is a cycle which produces maximum efficiency when operated between two temperature limits. This is the maximum temperature limit. This is a TH. This is not only high temperature, and minimum temperature level is represented as TL. So there is 4 to 1. The process 4 to 1 represent the heat addition. In thermodynamics, the heat addition simply refers as a QS or QA. in terms of kilojoule per kg. Then process 2 to 3 is represent isothermal heat rejection, that is represent QR. So if you write this efficiency of Carnot cycle, neta, it has a symbol which represents the efficiency of Carnot cycle. It is the ratio between the maximum temperature minus minimum temperature to the maximum temperature. That means TH minus TL divided by TH. It can be written as 1 minus TL by TH. So we know that this is a Carnot cycle produce maximum efficiency when operated at 2 temperature levels. However, this Carnot cycle cannot be used as an ideal cycle for vapor power cycle. This is due to the difficulty in add or remove heat from or to the working fluid during isothermal process. So during 18th century, William Rankine, a famous Scottish scientist, he modified this Carnot cycle by replacing this isothermal process with isobaric process. So it is comparatively easy to add or remove heat from or to the working fluid in isobaric process. So that cycles represent that modified Carnot cycle or that cycles represent Rankine cycle. So nowadays the Rankine cycle becomes ideal cycle for vapor power cycle. The Rankine cycle, particularly ideal Rankine cycle. The ideal Rankine cycle, we are having 4 main components, namely boiler, then turbine, condenser, then pump or compressor. The components involved in ideal Rankine cycle: boiler, turbine, condenser, and pump or compressor. The 4 major components present in the Rankine cycle. So we know that the boiler is a simple heat exchanger. It exchanges heat from combustion of fuel or burning of fuel into the water which is available in the tubes. So boiler is a simple heat exchanger in which we are having cell arrangement and number of tube bundles. Number of tube bundles we are passing water. So when the heat is added to the water is converted to steam. So the boiler is considered as a phase change heat exchanger. Here water is converted into steam. The turbine, the main purpose of turbine is to produce power output. The turbine is always coupled with electric generator to produce a power. So the mechanical shaft work is converted into electric energy with the help of turbine and generator combination. So the turbine is classed into 2 categories. It may be impulse or reaction. In the power plant, we are using reaction turbines. The reaction turbine in the sense, the energy available at the inlet of turbine blade is kinetic energy. The impulse turbine is nothing but the energy available at the inlet of the turbine blade is combination of potential and kinetic energy. So all the power plant use reaction turbine to produce a power output. Then condenser again is a phase change heat exchanger where the condensation of steam takes place at constant pressure and constant temperature. So again, condenser is a phase change heat exchanger. Here the phase change occurs at constant pressure and temperature. Here the steam or vapor is converted into liquid or maybe it's water. The pump, it may be centrifugal pump or axial pump. Its main purpose is to circulate the working fluid throughout all the components. So 4 major components available in the ideal Rankine cycle. Okay. Now I am going to draw the schematic diagram. So the first component is boiler. In thermodynamics, the circle is represent boiler. Then this boiler is next element is turbine, which is connected near to the boiler. The turbine. Particularly we are using steam turbine. The turbine is coupled with electric generator from which we can get the power output. Then next element is next component is condenser. Against the phase change, heat exchanger. Here condensation takes place at constant pressure, constant temperature. Then the condenser is connected to pump for circulation of working fluid. This is schematic diagram of Rankine cycle. Here I am going to mark the state 1 as a steam which comes out from the boiler. The state 2, after performing work on turbine, we are getting low pressure, low temperature steam, that is represents state 2. Then the low pressure, low temperature steam may be passed to the condenser, where the condensation takes place with the help of the external cooling water circuit. So you can get low pressure, low temperature water here. The low pressure, low temperature water is again pumped back to boiler. It becomes slightly high pressure, high temperature water. Then here the heat is added from some external source. That is Q1 amount of heat is added, or Qs amount of heat is added to the boiler, where to absorb the heat energy from the water when it is converted to steam. Here we are having high pressure, high temperature steam. Here we are having one particular idea. When the steam comes out from the boiler, the steam has three conditions. The steam may be wet steam, and dry saturated steam, and superheated steam. The wet steam in the sense, the steam obtained from the working fluid when the working fluid is at a temperature below the saturation temperature. For example, if the steam is obtained at the level of 70 degree, if it's a working fluid is a water, the steam may be obtained at the temperature of 70 degrees. That type of steam is represent wet steam. The wet steam may be a combination of liquid plus vapor. The dry and saturated steam means the steam obtained from the working fluid, particularly water, at the temperature exactly equal with saturation temperature, that means boiling point. So the boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. If we obtain the steam at 100 degrees centigrade, then that type of steam is known as dry and saturated steam. The superheated steam in the sense, the steam obtained from the working fluid, when the working fluid is maintained at the temperature above the saturation temperature or saturation point. So if you obtain the steam from the working fluid is maintained at temperature more than saturation temperature, it becomes superheated steam. For example, if we consider with the water, so if we obtain the steam from the water at 100 degrees centigrade, it becomes superheated steam. So apart from that, we are having one more parameter which measures the quality of steam, that is known as dryness fraction. The dryness fraction is always expressed in X. So X may be a ratio between mass of vapor present in the mixer to the mass of the mixer. So if it's a wet steam, the dryness fraction is always less than 1. If it is dry and saturated steam, the dryness fraction X becomes 1. If it is superheated steam, the dryness fraction X is greater than 1. We cannot define the dryness fraction because it is a pure vapor form. This is a concept of steam. So, depend upon the heat energy available to the boiler, we can get different type of steam. It may be wet steam or dry and saturated steam or superheated steam. Are you clear now? Next I am going to explain what are the processes involved in this diagram. So we mark the state. The process 1 to 2, state 1 to 2 is a person process. The process 1 to 2 is nothing but isentropic expansion. That means it's a reversible adiabatic expansion. There is no heat loss between this system to surrounding. This isentropic expansion or reversible adiabatic expansion. It's ideal because we are discussing ideal Rankine cycle. So here all the process ideal condition. The first assumption is there is no heat transfer between the system to surrounding. That is reversible adiabatic expansion, process 1 to 2. Then process 2 to 3. As I said earlier, William Rankine modified the Carnot cycle by replacing isothermal process with isobaric process. So here the process 2 to 3 is isobaric heat rejection. The isobaric in the sense is a constant pressure process. Next one is a process. Here the mark is a 3, here is 4. The process 3 to 4 is isentropic compression. Because the compression takes place, the pump is isentropic compression. This is also a reversible adiabatic compression. There is no heat loss between this pump to surrounding. Then process 4 to 1. The process 4 to 1 is represented against isobaric heat addition. So William Rankine, he replaced the two lines, isothermal line with this isobaric line. So that becomes this cycle becomes the basic cycle for all the steam power plant for electricity production. The process 4 to 1 is represented as isobaric heat addition. So again it's a constant pressure heat addition process. This is the thing. So this is a circuit schematic diagram. These are the processes involved. Okay, here the source, the steam may be different type of steam may be obtained dependent upon the heat energy available to the boiler. Similarly here the heat is rejected to the surroundings. This Q or amount of heat is rejected to the surrounding. So in order to circulate the working fluid, we have to supply some quantity of energy, that is represent WP. So if the WP amount is added to the pump, then definitely there will be some amount of work output based on second law of thermodynamics, WP or WT. Now I am going to express all the process in terms of temperatures, entropy coordinate, pressure, volume coordinate, and enthalpy and entropy coordinate. This is graphic representation of ideal Rankine cycle on different coordinates. The first coordinate is temperature and entropy. Y-axis, I think it's temperature in degree centigrade. In x-axis, we are having entropy, that is represented as S in kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So here we are having different lines. The first one, this one dome. The topmost portion of this dome is represent critical point. I mentioned what is critical point. So this line is represent saturated liquid line. This line is represent this arc is represent saturated vapor line. Here inside this dome we are having the mixture of liquid plus vapor. It may be water and water combination. This left hand side purely it's liquid. The right hand side we are having purely it's vapor. So here this is a liquid plus vapor zone. This is liquid region. This is vapor region. Here we are going to mark the different process of ideal Rankine cycle on this temperature and entropy coordinate. So as I said earlier, we are having three types of steam. First I am considering that is dry and saturated steam. That means the steam comes up at exactly 100 degrees centigrade. So I am marked as a 1. We know that the process 1 to 2 is an isentropic expansion or reversible adiabatic process. Here the entropy is constant. So the 1 to 2 you can draw a vertical line. It should be constant 1 to 2. Then 2 to 3 is we know that isobaric heat rejection process. So the temperature process directly proportional. That's why it is a 2 to 3 is a horizontal line. 3. So we know that at point 1 it's a high pressure, high temperature steam, particularly x equal to 1. So in some authors may refer this dome is represented as a x equal to 1. The dryness fraction of dome is 1. So 1 to 2 is a isentropic expansion here. Then 2 to 3 is constant pressure heat rejection. Then 3 to 4 isentropic compression. So that can be represented vertical line because it is a constant entropy. This is 4. Then fourth one is isobaric heat addition in boiler. So we know that this water at 27 degrees centigrade passes into the boiler tubes. So if I want to raise the temperature from 27 to 100 degrees centigrade, I am going to add some sensible heat. So that can be represented like this. Once we add the sensor to change the phase from water to steam, I need some constant line. The phase in the rapid heat addition takes place here. Here sensible heat addition. This is for dry saturated steam. This is a cycle completed. So 3 to 4 is a compression. Then 4 to 1 is heat addition. So you can simply write this as QS, Q injection, QR. Then we have to circulate the fluid. We need some quantity of pump work WP. Picking at the work output from the turbine. That's the case. So if it's a wet steam, the steam generated below the saturation temperature of water, that can be represented as a 1. It is inside the dome because the mixture wet steam is a mixture of liquid plus vapor. Then again so 1 to 2. If it's a superheated steam, then you can mark as a point here. It may be 1 dash, it's 2 dash, so like this. So we now differentiate this wet steam and dry superheated steam. 2 dash. This is temperature and entropy coordinate. So if it's a pressure volume coordinate, what will be? If it's a y-axis, we are having pressure, and the x-axis we are having volume. So the pressure in bar, the unit of pressure is bar, in volume, if it's a specific volume, it's a meter cube per kg. Here also we are having the same dome. This is a critical point. The critical point in the sense here the density of liquid and vapor is equal. That means we cannot distinguish or we cannot differentiate liquid and vapor at critical point. So as usual, this line is this curve is represent saturated liquid line. This is saturated vapor line. So inside we are having liquid plus vapor. Here is a liquid vapor. So the first I am going to mark is dry saturated steam. So obviously mark the point here. It's 1. Then it should be curve. Here there is no entropy coordinate. So it should be a curve. Then 2. Then 2 to 3. And 3 to 4. Again there is no entropy coordinate here. It's a curve. 4 to 1. This is if the steam comes out at dry saturated condition, this is a diagram for PV coordinates. If it's a superheated steam, again we extend like this. We mark 1 dash, it's a curve, it's a 2 dash. If it's a wet steam, you can draw. Here we mark point 1 double dash, a curve, 2 double dash. The same point you can write. This is a heat rejection. This is QR. This is heat supply QS. This is WT. This is WP. This is for pressure volume coordinate. If it's a enthalpy and entropy coordinate, what is it like? This time we y-axis enthalpy. Enthalpy represents the H. The unit is kilojoule per kg. But sir, in x-axis we are having entropy. Entropy is yes. The unit is kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Here this diagonal fraction line can be represented like this. So I mark as a x equal to 1. The first thing I assume that is a dry saturated steam comes out from the boiler. It is marked as a 1. Then it's a 2 because the entropy is 1 to 2 is a isentropic expansion 2 to 2. Then one curved line up to this point is a 3. It's nothing but a constant pressure heat rejection or isobaric heat rejection. Then 3 to 4 then isentropic compression. Then 4 to 1 constant pressure heat addition boiler. So if it is a superheated steam, it will be 1 double dash, sorry 1 dash, 2 dash. If it is a wet steam, again you can mark like this. This is 1 double dash, 2 double dash. The same way you can mark this is heat added or heat rejected. This is WP, this is WT. Next we are going to discuss about thermal analysis of this cycle. That's why I want to erase this schematic diagram. From this concept we can write a thermal analysis equations. Thermal analysis of ideal Rankine cycle. So we know that we are having 4 important components in ideal Rankine cycle. First we start from turbine. So that is work done by the turbine. W can be written as in terms of enthalpy. Here I am considering in this analysis, just I am considering the dry saturated steam comes out from the boiler and produces a power output. So the work done by the turbine is represented WT. It can be H1 minus H2 because this equation is obtained from steady flow energy equation. Here we are regulating kinetic energy changes, potential energy changes and elevations. So H1 minus H2 is represent the work done by the turbine. So in order to work output, we have to give some work input. So the work input to the pump, WP. WP can be written as H4 minus H3. So again this H4 minus H3 can be replaced in terms of pressure. So you can write it's a V, that is V3 into P4 minus P3, because we know that H is the summation of internal energy and flow work. Again V3 is difficult to find, so you can modify it maybe in terms of HF2, the P4 and P1 is same. This is a constant pressure heat addition process. This is P1. The P3 and P2 is same because constant pressure heat rejection. One is P2. This is a WP. Next what will be the heat equation? Heat added equation, heat rejected equation. Heat added or heat supplied can be written as Qs or Qa. From steady for energy equations, Qs can be written as H1 minus H4. So because H1 is maximum compared to H4. Again, you know the H is a function of temperature. So the inlet of turbine temperature is more. H4 is nothing but it's the inlet to the boiler. Then heat rejected equation is can be written as Q or the QR can be written as H2 minus H3. So now the net work output of this Rankine cycle can be represented as the difference between work done by the turbine to work done on the pump, WT minus WP. So WT we have written as H1 minus H2 minus WPS H4 minus H3. So the efficiency of this Rankine cycle can be written as this particular thermal efficiency. The efficiency of the Rankine cycle, particular ideal Rankine cycle. This represents neta Rankine. It's a ratio between net work output to the heat supply. So here I want next. So the net work output is H1 minus H2 minus H4 minus H3 divided by the heat supply H1 minus H4. This is for Rankine cycle if we consider pump work. Consideration of pump work. If we are not interested to consider this pump work, because compared to work produced, the pump work is negligible amount. That's why we can eliminate the pump work. The efficiency of Rankine cycle without pump work H1 minus H2 divided by H1 minus H4. We can eliminate this term. Now we are going to discuss about deviation of actual Rankine cycle from an ideal Rankine cycle. As we discussed earlier, the ideal Rankine cycle consists of 4 processes, namely isentropic expansion, isobaric heat rejection, isothermal compression, isentropic compression, and isothermal heat addition. So all the processes are in reversible nature, but practically we cannot achieve the reversible process. There will be some irreversibility present in the process due to friction and some other heat losses. First I am going to explain what are the deviation of actual Rankine cycle from an ideal Rankine cycle. Before that I want to explain with the help of temperature and entropy plan. the y-axis, having temperature, degree centigrade. The x-axis we are having entropy. Yes, in terms of kilojoule per kg Kelvin. We are having the rho. This is a critical point. This is a liquid region, liquid plus vapor region. This is a vapor. I am considering superheated steam. For comparing this actual Rankine cycle and the ideal Rankine cycle, I want to consider superheated steam. The steam which is comes out from the working fluid above the saturation temperature, means the steam which is obtained from the working fluid. The working fluid is maintained at the above the saturation point of the working fluid. That means the steam comes out after 100 degrees centigrade. So this superheated steam are marked as a 1. This 1 to 2, this represent isentropic expansion, that is reversible nature. This is for ideal Rankine cycle. Then 2 to 3, this represent isobaric heat rejection. This is again a reversible process. Then 3 to 4 is isentropic compression, that means reversible adiabatic compression. Then 4 to 1 is represent isobaric heat addition. Here it says turbine work. This is the pump work. So, because of irreversibility present in the process, this ideal Rankine cycle may be deviated. If you consider the turbine we are having isentropic expansion, but in nature the isentropic expansion is converted into polytropic expansion. That means the heat loss takes place from turbine to surrounding. So the heat loss present, heat transfer present from turbine to surrounding. So slowly this isentropic process converted into polytropic process. All the components is 100%. So the first I am going to discuss about the turbine efficiency. That is represent turbine. Here actual work divided by isentropic work. This represents turbine efficiency. Particularly isentropic efficiency is actual work done by the turbine divided by ideal work. Here actual work is the work is reduced because the isentropic expansion is converted into polytropic expansion. Then definitely there will be heat loss to the surrounding. So the ideal work is reduced. That becomes actual work. Can represent H1 minus H2A divided by H1 minus H2. This is turbine efficiency. So this is turbine efficiency. It's a ratio between actual work to ideal work. Similarly for pump efficiency. The pump efficiency can be defined. Efficiency of pump. Here the work required in ideal case is smaller than the work required for actual case. So the isentropic ratio between isentropic work to actual work. Because if it's a reversible process, only small quantity of work is required to circulate the fluid. If it's an actual case, we need more amount of energy to circulate the fluid. So it's a ratio between isentropic work to actual work. So it can be written in terms of enthalpy. In isentropic work is H4 minus H3 divided by, if it's a actual work, H4A minus H3. This is the pump efficiency. These are the two deviations. Apart from this two deviation, they are having some irreversibility in boiler tubes and condenser tubes. Because of fluid friction, the pressure loss occurs in boiler and condenser tube. It can be represented in terms of some dotted lines. But in the thermodynamics, we are not bothered about this pressure drop. We are only concentrating the irreversibility caused by this heat loss to the surrounding. Next, we are going to discuss about the modification of Rankine cycle. So in order to increase the efficiency of Rankine cycle, at the same time to compensate this irreversibility present in the actual cycle, we have to go for some modification in Rankine cycle. Modification in ideal Rankine cycle. To improve the efficiency of Rankine cycle, this is necessary. This is improve the efficiency of the Rankine cycle. At the same time, in order to compensate the losses available in actual cycle, we need to go for some modification. The first modification is a Rankine and reheat cycle. The combination of reheater with this component. And the second modification is Rankine regenerative cycle. So we are going to discuss about Rankine reheat cycle. What are the components available? What are the process? What is the schematic diagram? What is the thermal analysis involved in this reheat cycle? Similarly, same concepts we are going to discuss about the regenerative cycle. In reheat cycle, we know that in the ideal Rankine cycle, we are having the turbine. If the inlet pressure of the turbine is increases, for example, the inlet pressure is nearly 300 bar or 20 bar or 25 bar, 30 bar. You can imagine the inlet pressure of the turbine is increases, the expansion ratio also increases. Once the expansion of the turbine increases, the steam is converted into wet steam at the end of the expansion. Initially, we are assuming that we are having superheated steam at some high pressures. The superheated steam is gradually expanded, it converted into wet steam at nearer to the end of the turbine of expansion stage in the turbine. Once the superheated steam is converted to the wet steam at the end of the turbine, automatically moisture content, the moisture content present in this steam, it will affect the turbine blades. It gives this erosion to the turbine blade and also leads to some losses into the surrounding. So we have to take care of this. We have to take care of these losses. At the same time, we have to take care of turbine blade life. So for that purpose, we have to reheat the steam. So in the Rankine and reheat cycle, we are taking the steam to the reheater. Again, the steam is bring back to another turbine. That means the reheat cycle, the expansion takes place in two stages. We are employing high pressure turbine and low pressure turbine. Once the expansion complete the high pressure turbine, again the steam is bring back to the reheating process, then pass to the low pressure turbine. The main purpose of this Rankine and reheat cycle is to maintain the dryness fraction of the steam should not below the 0.88. This is the main purpose. So once we increase the dryness fraction, the quality of steam, we can take care of this moisture problem, at the same time losses. So we can automatically get more efficiency. This is a phenomenon of Rankine and the reheat cycle. So now we are going to discuss about what are the components available in Rankine and reheat cycle. So Rankine, reheat cycle. The components: the boiler, then we have high pressure turbine, then reheater, low pressure turbine, the condenser and pump. The boiler is a heat exchanger which converts water into steam with the aid of external heat energy. The external heat energy may be obtained either by combustion of fuel or burning of fuel. Then high pressure turbine, it gives some expansion up to some pressure, then the steam is bring back to the reheater. The reheater is one small heat exchanger which is mounted inside the boiler. Then low pressure turbine again produce some work output, then it expands the steam up to condenser pressure. In condensation, the steam is converted into water at constant pressure and constant temperature process. The pump is used to circulate the working fluid throughout the cycle. Next we have discussed about the schematic diagram of Rankine and reheat cycle. So boiler, so we are having high pressure turbine and should be marked as a HP, the high pressure turbine. After expansion of high pressure turbine, actually I said that it is the Rankine and reheat cycle. The expansion takes place in two stages. So again steam bring back to the reheater section to pass to the low pressure turbine, CLP. The both turbines are coupled with the generator for transferring the electricity. So this work output of the turbine is coupled with the generator, so thereby we can get the electric energy out. Now the outlet of low pressure turbine is connected with the condenser, where isobaric heat rejection takes place with the aid of external cooling circuit, having pump arrangement for circulating working fluid throughout the components. Here I mark this. State 1 is a inlet to the high pressure turbine, and state 2 is a outlet to the high pressure, that is steam outlet condition from high pressure turbine. Then 2 to 3 is a reheating condition. Then 3 to 4 is again isentropic expansion low pressure turbine. Then 4 to 5 isobaric heat rejection takes place in condenser, that is QR. Then 5 to 6 is isentropic compression. Further devotes spends some amount of work, some amount of energy, WP. So here we can get WT1 amount of work output from high pressure turbine and WQ2 amount of work output from the low pressure turbine. So we want to supply some heat energy at QS. Okay, then we have to discuss part of the process involved in this Rankine reheat cycle. The process involved. The process 1 to 2 is isentropic expansion in high pressure turbine. So isentropic expansion. Then process 2 to 3. The process 2 to 3 is a reheating, particularly constant pressure heat addition. So isobaric heat addition in reheater. Then process 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion low pressure turbine. Then process 4 to 5 constant pressure isobaric heat rejection. Isobaric heat rejection in condenser. Then process 5 to 6 is isentropic compression in the pump. It is a condenser. We want to make condenser pump. 5 to 6 is isentropic compression. 6 to 1 is isobaric heat addition in boiler. So this complete on cycle to produce a work output. So process 1 to is isentropy expansion, 2 to 3 is reheating process, particularly the concept is a heat reheating. So it's a reheating process takes place at constant pressure. Then 3 to 4 isentropic expansion in low pressure turbine. And 4 to 5 is isobaric heat rejection. And 5 to 6 is isentropic compression. And process 6 to 1 is isobaric heat addition in boiler. Now I am going to explain in TS plant or temperature entropy diagram. I am going to express all the process in TS plant. So graphic representation. So TS diagram or TS plot. My axis, you can take this temperature, degree centigrade. The x-axis we are having entropy, yes, in kilojoule per kg Kelvin. So you can draw this dome. This dome is nothing but it's a dryness fraction when x equal to 1. This point is represents the critical point Cp. So inside the dome we are having liquid plus vapor region. Here is a liquid, this is a vapor. It's up to this critical point. This is saturated liquid line. This one is a saturated vapor line. Just I am going to consider superheated steam for this condition. The superheated steam we can mark as 1 here. So 1 to 2 is isentropic expansion in first turbine. Then 2 to 3 is a reheating process. 2 to 3, I am assuming this is a perfect reheating process. The reheating is 100%. The effectiveness of the heat exchanger is 100%. So 2 to 3. Then 3 to 4 is isentropy expansion, low pressure turbine. Then 4 to 5 is isobaric heat rejection. Then 5 to 6 is isentropic compression. 6 to 1 is isobaric heat addition in boiler. Here you can add this heat supply, heat rejection. This is some amount of energy is required to circulate the working fluid throughout the components. WP. This is WT1, WT2. So here this portion is represent sensible heat addition and this portion is latent addition. This is superheat condition. So this line is also constant pressure line in boiler. Now we are going to discuss the equation thermal analysis of Rankine and reheat cycle. Thermal analysis of Rankine and reheat cycle. So work done by from steady for energy equation, we can simplify the equation, the energy equations available in Rankine and reheat cycle. So work done by the turbine. Here we are having two turbines. So there is common, this is WT is nothing but WT1 plus WT2. So WT1 can be written as H1 minus H2 plus WT as H3 minus H4. The unit is kilojoule per kg. They are assuming that this 1 kg of steam is flows through this component. Then pump work done on the pump represent WP. WP is nothing but this H6 minus H5. This is a work done equation. Similar for heat supplied and heat rejected equations. So heat supplied equation can be written as Qs. Qs can be written as this heat is added to the boiler at the same time reheating process. So you can write H1 minus H6 because H1 is maximum. The outlet of boiler is limited to the boiler. Plus we are having reheating. For reheating purpose we have to add some amount of heat energy to the steam. So this we have to take out the reheating value H3 minus H2. This is a heat supplied equation to the steam. So the heat rejection equation, heat rejected. So QR can be written as H4 minus H5. Then the net work output. Net work output of the modified Rankine cycle is W. Net can be written as Wt minus Wp. So this value is Wt is H1 minus H2 plus H3 minus H4 minus of the pump work H6 minus H5. This is net output. What is the thermal efficiency? Thermal efficiency of this modified cycle, efficiency of Rankine and reheat can be written as net work output by heat supplied. So this can be written like this. Net output is can be written as H1 minus H2 plus H3 minus H4 minus H6 minus H5. The heat supplied equation H1 minus H6 plus H3 minus H2. This is a Rankine reheat cycle with consideration of pump work. Without consideration of pump work, we can eliminate this term. Now I will show the video clipping of the Rankine cycle. Rankine cycle superheated condition, Rankine cycle superheated reheated condition, the Rankine cycle superheated regenerated condition, the combination of reheated and regenerative cycle. Here you can see this diagram. Here the point 3, the 2-2 3 represents the superheated stage. This is a schematic diagram of ideal Rankine cycle. This is a boiler arrangement. It's a turbine. Here this tube represents economical superheaters. This is a surface condenser. This is a corresponding TS diagram. Here you can see this liquid line and the steam line. So the process 1 to 2 is a pump work, 2 to 3 is a engine, just I discussed earlier. The same time. Here the Rankine cycle, this is a PV TS diagram. So 1 to 2 isentropic compression, 2 to 3 is represent is a constant of heat addition, 3 to 4 is isentropic expansion, and 4 to 1 is isobaric heat rejection. This is a critical point, it's a liquid region. Similar for the Rankine cycle and super preheated combinations. So we have the expansion takes place in 2 stages in order to avoid the moisture content problem. You can see this is the steam comes up to the high pressure turbine. Then after performing some work, again steam is bring back to the boiler for reheating process. Same problem we discussed. You can see this TS diagram. 3 to 4 and 4 to 5 here. The 4 to 5 is represent as a reheating process. In this case, then addition of superheated region, then the saturated steam, the superheated steam, again pass to the reheat and the boiler section. Then 5 to 6 is expansion of the second turbine, the wet steam. So this point is a present context. This point is totally liquid. You can see this portion is a liquid and vapor region. This is a Rankine cycle for regeneration. For regeneration is nothing. We are using some separate feed water heater to preheat the water, to increase the efficiency of this Rankine cycle. And just preheating the water, it's like as an economizer. We are utilizing some quantity of steam to preheat the water. So the waters again, the preheated waters again bring back to the boiler. It's a diagram. Here we are having this different type of mass. This region we have m quantity of steam is used to preheat the water in feed water heater. So here you can see this. So during the expansion of turbine, some quantity of steam is used to preheat the feed water to the boiler. This amount of quantity, maybe m kg of quantity. So 1 minus m kg of steam is flowing into the condenser section. At point 1, this combination, so 1 kg of steam again flows through this circuit. This is a regenerated method, superheated and regenerated concept of Rankine cycle. This is a combination of reheat and regenerator. Here the expansion takes place in 2 stages. Again we are having one feed water heater to improve the efficiency of this Rankine cycle. So you can see this, the high pressure turbine, then the steam, some quantity of steam involved for reheating process, and some m kg of steam brought to the feed water heater for preheat the water to the boiler. So combination. Here you can see this TS diagram. So to the reheating process, at the same time m quantity of steam may be bleed off to preheat the feed water. This is combinations. Here we are having different 2 type of pumps. The pump 1 is used to pump the up to feed water heater. Then beyond that, one more pump is used to transfer the water to the boiler. Critical point, condenser, this is a liquid water. Today we analyzed the vapor power cycle, the basics of vapor power cycle, and the limitations of the Carnot cycle and the Rankine cycle. As we know that the Rankine cycle is a basic cycle for steam power plant. Today we discuss the modification and the deviation of actual cycle from ideal Rankine cycle. Just I want to summarize what we discussed today. So today we discussed the power cycle. It is continuously convert heat into work. The heat energy may be obtained from either from the burning of fuel or combustion of fuel. Here in this, the working fluid is repeatedly performing succession of process. The classifications may be classified based on the working fluid. It's a gas power cycle and vapor power cycle. In gas power cycle, the working fluid remains in gaseous state. The example is petrol engine, diesel engine, dual fuel engines. In the vapor power cycle, the working fluid continuously changes space. We discussed there is water continuously change from steam to water, the liquid to vapor state. The application is steam or thermal power plant or some combined power plant to improve the efficiency. So today we discussed the limitation of Carnot cycle. The Carnot cycle, as we know that the Carnot cycle is most efficient cycle. It produces the maximum efficiency when operated at 2 temperature levels. However, this Carnot cycle cannot be applied for basic cycle for vapor power cycle. This is due to the difficulty in addition or removal of heat to the working fluid during the isothermal process. So the William Rankine, he developed, he replaced this isothermal with isobaric process. This is a limitation. Here this process, here very difficult to add heat and reject heat during isothermal process. That's why this Carnot cycle is modified by William Rankine. Nowadays, the Rankine cycle becomes ideal cycle for vapor power cycle. So as we discussed here, we are having 4 main components. The process 1 to 2 is isentropic expansion, 2 to 3 is isobaric or concept is heat rejection, 3 to 4 is isentropic compression, and 4 to 1 is isobaric heat addition. This is a deviation of actual cycle from ideal Rankine cycle due to irreversibility present in turbine and pump and some pressure losses present in the boiler tubes and condenser tube. The actual cycle is deviated from the ideal cycle. So it can be represented in TS diagram as a T1 to 2 is nothing but this isentropic compression. Then 1 to 2 is nothing but this actual compression pump. So this ideal reheat cycle, just we discussed here, we have this the expansion takes place in 2 stages. So the reheating, again the heat steam brought from the high pressure turbine brought back to the boiler for reheating process. The regenerative cycle just to preheat the feed water to the boiler by extracting some quantity of steam during the expansion process. So today we discussed the Rankine cycle or the modification of Rankine cycle. It will be helpful for us to understand the power plant phenomena. Thank you.